What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 24 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Archaon the Everchosen campaign. So as we saw last time, the servants of the Conclave have joined us as our vassals, now to be set to outfitting Archaon's armies forevermore. It's the trains we want, and we now do have access to them, at least, and hopefully we'll be able to make good use of it. Archaon is now heading towards the World's Edge Mountains and crossing into Imperial territory, while all of the armies over here have pretty much destroyed Nagaroth and Malekith's faction and are ready to go southward. The Exiles of Nehek should prove a pretty decent opponent for us, especially considering they're the third most powerful faction in the game right now after Vladi and his empire, and Camry is around there as well. So yeah, both quite strong. And alright, or was Camry number 2? I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's Camry that's number 2, but, well, we'll head down there as well. I'm sure we'll be getting into a little bit of a tiff with Cetra eventually. He is bordering Scarbrand after all, and we probably won't have Scarbrand take care of him for us. Oh, I also noticed that the Black Pyramid of Nagash doesn't offer us any kind of unique building, which is a little bit unfortunate. You'd think that it would still be of at least some use to Chaos Sorcerers. But anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, I think we're ready to just end the turn and see what happens to us. I guess one of the only places where we could possibly get attacked is up here, so that's where we'll turn the camera. And skip, damage building outpost upgrade commandment available. Well, why isn't there always? Exploit vessels for you. And do we build the cultist camp? You know, I'm going to say no for now, because we may want to trade this in order to trade this and this and this to the Blessed Dread, and then trade it back, because we want to keep the salt. Keep ourselves nice and salty. Anyway, turn. Alrighty, and while the turn is ending, and while I'm hoping for an attack upon us, it looks like we did once again manage to reach the threshold there, so another 1 hour episode this time around. Looking pretty good so far streak-wise, haven't dropped out of the streak a single time as yet, and obviously the offer does still stand, 300 likes and 50 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well, though the likes are, I think, the more difficult part than the comments, as those are the ones that are just hovering around and dropping low. But anyway, Goldtooth mobilizes, great for Goldtooth, and looks like Jiao Ming has revived and might try to go after one of these territories. Hopefully Goldtooth will chase him down, as I don't really want Kukar to divert. Constructor, Kagan is ready for duty. I don't know who Kagan is, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. Also, before we do anything, Bubonic Swarm, we are going to switch you briefly to Bloom of Decay. Or do we get Contagious Worship for the War Shrine? Well, we get a little influx of growth via Bloom of Decay, but we do want one of these for Kolek's army. And it might be nice to start working our way towards the Nurgle Soul Grinder, so let's do this one for now. And try not to regret it. We'll keep Crown of Kings and Death's Bounty for the next few turns, but let's get back to the Gift of Tzeentch and start getting a few of the units in here. Maybe want to get the Flamers, more Flamers as needed. We'll also need more Cockatrices, and probably get a few Soul Grinders. Not entirely sure which army they're going to go into as yet, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, and go to Flames of Fate mostly because... Oh, wait. Actually, you know what? Go to Whirling Destruction instead. We want some Pink Horrors for Village, so let's get a few of those on the field. Lovely. Alright, and then I'll hopefully remember to do the others afterwards. Archie, where do you be going to? You can reach the Silver Pinnacle. Fantastic. Although I guess the question is whether you'll be able to reach it and still be able to occupy it after. I guess we're about to find out. And do we need to fight? The Factions Lord is there, but, I mean, compared to the attack on the Conclave, this is probably not worth our time and effort. I'm gonna say no. Auto-resolve it. We'll probably take half damage, and our giants are gonna get absolutely ripped apart, but what can you do? Sack the place. And reoccupied for those gemstones. Alright, how's our healing looking? Yeah, we heal about half of the giant's HP per turn, so it's not so bad. We'll probably be able to heal them up to full before hitting Khazad Kulaz or something like that. A collector. Campaign movement range and income from sacking settlements and another student as well, and Lamian Sisterhood. And just like that is gone. Do we want to put, let's see, what's that? Who's that war banner on? It's on one of the knights. It's on one of the, it's on the Knights of Khorne, eh? I'm wondering whether the collector would be... Actually, it probably wouldn't be useful in this army, because Archaon basically moves at max movement range anyway. So, not crazy useful to him. We'll want to repair... Damn, the cost of repairing the Cultist Camp of Gems is basically as much as sacking it, so probably wasn't much point in sacking it, I guess. Desolation of Drakenmore. What do we have in terms of defenses here? And is it worth it for a village to take the time to attack? Yeah. It might be. We'll see. Let me see. What are we looking at? A valiant defeat. Okay, well, we have no choice but to unleash the Mutalith Vortex Beast, so that we will. In a few minutes, let's just make sure that we move everybody else around as needed. Samoth Painbringer, who is... probably going to get replaced by a demon. With some artillery. We'll continue moving this way. And in fact, we need to put you into this army, so let's move you here. Now let's pop you in here. And then continue on the way. Ooh, we'll also need you to channel. You are losing your mana. And we'll also need you to recruit some stuff, namely at least another Iron Demon, though I don't believe we currently have access to it. I do want to double check whether Samoth has Root Marcher. He does not. Frankly, his point expenditure doesn't really matter all that much, but we will go for Chaos Vanguard, Spirit Leech, Life Leeching, Soul Blight, because I like Soul Blight and do tend to use it. Let's buff up the Hell Cannons as well, though they probably don't need that much in the way of buffs, as they're all quite strong. We needed Chaos Vanguard more to make sure that we keep the Hell Cannons alive. Alright, that looks good to me. Who's up next? Azazel. Alright, so you guys have stuff to do here. We gotta do this in the appropriate manner. Ooh, also, wait. We had a mission from somebody to kill Alethanar. I don't remember who. You. I want to see where Alethanar is. Okay, he appears to be somewhere near the Circle of Destruction. I imagine if we leave Hag Grief, it might be that they get destroyed there, but it doesn't really matter. Are you able to reach Dracula's Spire? Indeed you are. Don't recruit anything here. Recruit something there. Oh, what do we have in terms of defenses here? Is this worth fighting? I really want Valkia to get her debut battle. Do we just fight this? These basic troops is what bothers me. Also, are you able to recruit any horsemen here? Because you're going to need a lot more. No, no horses here. Come on, game. Come on. 21%, and we get none. Hopefully we can find some out here somewhere, though I think it's probably not mountain territories where we have the highest chance of getting them on the field. But anyway, Azazel, move down to Cragrod Deep. I don't see Mr. Elif, but whatever. And besiege it for a second. Just give me a moment. Vashnar Hellnox, you're supposed to join Azazel's army, and Hudakai Hemanphone, you're on the way as well. Alright, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try vassalizing Nagaron, giving him back a lot of territory, and seeing whether we can make him a proper vassal that actually sticks around and doesn't rebel. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's mostly out of for my own curiosity, let's say. And aspiring champions don't have magical damage? Huh. Maybe they get it with research from Zinch. Alright, let's give the magical damage to the Pillarmen, I guess, for now, but the rest of this is fine. Auto-resolve this. And yeah, we gotta watch out for the auto-resolve ripping our poor chariots apart, as that's quite problematic, but what can you do? And go for exploit vessels for now, I guess. Actually, no. Actually, yes. Campaign movement range will be useful here. Siggy. I'm gonna need you to attack Nagaron, though I think maybe we can auto-resolve this. Let's move Jaeger to reinforce. And I think we should be able to auto-resolve with Jaeger helping. It's just that we already attacked Hag Grief with a better garrison, in the sense that they had a Malekith there, plus some other stuff. I don't really see the need to fight this battle effectively again. So we'll move you right nearby, and I guess a regular stance like so. And with you helping out... Wait, just to double check, this is your last territory, yes? No, it isn't. Ooh, I almost screwed that up. We need Valkia to attack first. You know what, I'm gonna fight this. I know it's a little tiny waste of time battle, but until Valkia is ready to go and have a proper fight, a proper force rather, that's all we got. What we do want to do though is this. Go to recruit hero and... Oh. One more turn? Okay. I was thinking we were able to get our exalted hero of Khorne from Valkia, but not yet. That's fine. Valkia could probably take care of all this by herself, but I want to see those Knights of the Brazen Throne in action, and, well, that we will.
The dark embrace of death is not the end. Prove your martial prowess to Khorne!
Alrighty, Valkia's debut. Well, obviously we didn't really have to fight this, but I feel like it might be a little fight to see Valkia join the fray at last, and to see the Knights of the Brazen Throne as well. They look absolutely amazing with that black and brass armor combination that they have. I do wish more of our units could get this color scheme of various kinds. I can't wait to see these guys in action. Fantastic. Anyway, we will start the battle up by sending Valkia down to deal with the Death Hag, obviously heedless of the enemies protecting said Death Hag, who immediately loses about 25% of her HP, and is about to lose more. In the meantime, the rest of the units will be ignored. I'm curious to see how much damage the Knights will do on the charge. So, let's see their charge in slow motion, how much air they can get on the units. They can certainly charge right on through there, and damn, they basically have the entire unit as a wall before them. That's pretty freaking glorious. Look at that. Damn. They seem to be just as effective at doing a sort of charge like that as a unit of Grail Knights might be. Now, out of curiosity, what did that charge do? So it basically took 3/4 of the HP off a unit of Dark Shards, a half of HP off a yet another unit of Dark Shards, and another half off a unit of Bleak Swords. Considering that took all of, I don't know, 3 seconds, and they were never in combat, really? That's pretty darn good. Very impressive, and the damage actually continues. The other Dark Shards units continue loses HP. We move quickly in to another unit of Dark Shards, and on the damaged units already, we summon a unit of Spawn. Looks like the enemy Death Hag has already been defeated by Valkia as well, who is going to have to chase him down, and it's looking like this battle will be very quick, especially as the rest of our army has yet to arrive. Well, that was always bound to be the case. Anyway, over on the rightmost flank, we have our Marauder Horsemen of Khorne, who are just annoying some of the Dark Riders, a little bit annoyingly in the sense that the axes aren't spread out along more units, are basically hitting 1 or 2 units, but it does tend to happen with those. We are going to have to get another charge going with those Skull Crushers. Oh, I am not going to get tired of this. That's pretty glorious. Charging right on through, and I believe there were 2 units of spears here. Yeah, one of them loses half HP, and now we charge right back through. Oh, I love how they just don't care. And look at how quickly they speed up on the charge. Very, very nice. Absolutely disgusting, in fact. Valkia still trying to chase down the enemy lord. Sometimes there's a problem with your lord like Valkia when they move too fast, and then they have a difficulty catching up to the enemy lord when they're chasing them down because they actually overtake them, which seems a little bit counterintuitive, but yeah. And there we, oh my lord, that's very nice, Valkia, very nice. Well, yeah, you need to collect her skull for corn, so that all made very much sense. Anyway, with the enemy lord dead, the enemy army is very much on the verge of collapse. Our main line of marauders and chaos warriors have arrived, but they don't look like they're going to have much of a fight, as between Valkia and the skull crushers, most of the enemy army has already collapsed. Not to worry, this army will have plenty of playtime. It is just beginning in its time here, after all. Another one of these ridiculous charges right into the back of a unit of Blackguard of Nagaron. And then essentially pressing the unit of Blackguard into a unit of Trolls and another of Chaos Spawn. And absolutely crushing them between the two, and there we go. Just like that, the battle is quickly and easily ours. Valkia got to collect the Death Hag's skull, and the Knights... I'm actually interested to see how much damage they did out of that. Ooh, alright. Very, very nice indeed. Though I fear I may have been slightly mistaken in giving the War Banner to the Knights of the Brazen Throne, considering the absolutely ludicrous charge that they have, destroying 3 units at once with a single charge. I feel like we should power them up even further with the Lichbone Pennant, make sure that magics are no threat to them, and give them magical attacks for even more damage. At least I think. We'll try it this way around, and then we'll see what effect that has on them, because damn, that is a very, very scary unit. And before I had perhaps balked at paying 800 or so per gold per turn for a single unit, because that's like 8 Marauder units worth of a single unit. But yeah, I think this unit was most definitely worth it. Alright, and plus they look freaking amazing. Anyway, Dreckless Spire, I'm not going to bother sacking it because I don't feel like it. Iron Coast Province secured, great, and we will pop you in to exploit vassals. I'm just going to go ahead and repair them. It's not that much, and at the same time, I'd rather give repaired territories to our allies, though the question will be who we actually give them to. The Norse are actually fairly useless, or the Norskins, they're fairly useless. Other than the Rog, every single one of them hasn't really done anything with any of the territory that they have. They don't even have a single thing that will give us mammoths. We don't have a single Norskin territory that can allow us to get Fimir. Basically nothing. Nothing at all. Thragi can generate some stuff, I think, in a few places, but it's probably places like Krakadrak, which we want from him anyway. So yeah, not super happy with the Norskins as allies, which is a little bit disappointing, because I feel like in this version of the game they do a little bit better than in the previous. I mean, Norska has been sort of up and down. Sometimes they do really, really well, and sometimes not so well, but I think right now they're doing quite well. It's kind of like the greenskins and dwarfs thing, depending on which patch it was. It's, well, we always have to see whether it's the greenskins or the dwarfs that are destroying one another. Or at least that's the way the dynamic was, and I guess similar up north with Nagaron and things like that. And I guess the Empire and Vlad, though I generally see Vlad win that one. As well he should, damn it. Anyway, we're gonna resolve this. A little bit of damage on you. Decent amount of cash for our trouble, and we will subjugate you. So, out of subjugation, I'm going to be curious here. We got another student, and a Hudakai gets a War Shrine. That's great for Hudakai. Edgelord Hudakai. Oh, there's 2 Hudakais here. Interesting. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to maybe keep you on the chariot. No, not you. The other one. Nah, you stay on the steed. I just realized because the other army has a bunch of chariots. Oh, this one does not, so we should. Chaos Steed for Asavar. I don't think you are going to use the Talisman of Preservation. We can give that to one of our legendary Lords Jaeger. You have to prove yourself to be a legend, whether it be of the regular legendary Lord variety, or whether it be of the Gulator and Kuchar variety, as in legendary characters that will stay on this channel forever. Stance rating, no. I guess we could channel with you. Heading to Hag Grief, and I guess you're heading southward. You have a lot of elves to obliterate still. And you damn well will. Jaeger, I guess temporarily we're going to move you up to Kawark while Tamar Painbringer starts bringing the Khorne Demon Army around. Together you'll attack the Palace of Ruin and then head southward. So yeah, you're going this way. In fact, I would also like you to recruit some stuff, so you do have some stuff to do up here as well, and we can get Valmir to finally join you. The Rune Smashers are together at last, Telzin and Valmir. Alright, I hope I did the right... So your metal and your Zinch, perfect, alright, you both did well. Now, all three of you did well. I'm talking to the Rune Smasher brothers and to past Ruinous. Now... Where is Azag? We still don't know where he is, which is something of a problem, I would say. But I think nonetheless it is time to take Middenheim. Should be out of his... Ooh, wait. Middenheim is near to tier 3, meaning if we wait a turn, we could take it at the next tier, which we should probably then do. Alright, fine. Another thing we may want to do is not draw Festus into combat, so that we're the only ones fighting Azag right now. Granted, this will mean that our vassals won't be fighting him here in the World's Edge Mountains, but in crossing through the mountains, we'll probably destroy him anyway. So here's what we'll do. Who do we know that likes to make deals with chaos? Yo. Balthazar Gel. Join war against the Bone Rattlers. For 2.6k. I like so. And we will take Middenstag or Krudenwald. It doesn't really matter which. Krudenwald actually has decent defenses, so maybe we'll take you first. And then we'll hit Middenheim next turn once it's leveled up. Close victory? Really? Eh. Oh, wow, that absolutely ripped our spawn apart. Okay, I probably shouldn't have done that, but too late now. Sack the place and then return to it. We did get a blasted standard out of it, though, so can't complain about that one. And then return to the place, and hopefully you can heal up to... Well, not full. We may actually have to manually attack Middenheim over it. Auto-resolve. I'll never learn. Anyway, Kolek, you were about to go for the gallows tree, and frankly, wood is relatively useless, which means we are free to A, grab a couple of more Dragon Ogre Shaggoths, B, delete the Chaos Troll armor, the last of the Chaos Trolls here, and we'll just keep 3 and replace them with the Chaos War Shrine of Nurgle. Frankly, we might get even more mileage out of deleting another one of these guys and getting a second Chaos War Shrine of Nurgle. I'll think about it. If we're able to spread these out along our lines or into multiple breaches and enemy settlements, we'll get a lot more mileage because of the passive area heal that they provide. So, yeah, they're pretty useful units for us in particular. Go to the gallows tree if you please, or if you will. Auto-resolve that real quick, get a little bit of XP, and interestingly enough, during battle, the Dragon Ogres are barely ever hurt, but during auto-resolve, or rather, the Dragon Ogres get hurt more than the Trolls, but in the auto-resolve, the Trolls get more hurt than the battle, than the Dragon Ogres. It's very strange. You can be subjugated. Mostly for the buffs that we get. I don't really care about these guys, but hey, might be able to get some of their units. What do we have here? Pox Riders and Chaos Chariots. Okay, we don't really care about either of those, but whatever. Enemy killed in battle, Scroll of Shielding, and oh wow, this place makes 900 money? Huh. Which is a surprising amount of cash. Let's build an immediate outpost here, as we do have the money for it ourselves. Grandfather the Triumphant, eh? Sounds more like a Great Unclean One name than a Herald of Nurgle name, but whatever. Anyway, Kolek, you are either headed down to Saber Mountain, or all the way to the jungles of Lustria through one of these passages. It's going to take you a while to get there, mind you. I'm actually wondering, Would it actually be faster to go down here? Let's see, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 turns. This would allow you to show up here. Actually, I'm not sure that you'd actually save all that many turns. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd save 1 turn doing this. If you show up here, you go all the way... No, that probably wouldn't save any time. And then just traveling through Catha and going directly for this, and then showing up outside of Hexoedel's territory. Probably the best place to send Kolek. As somebody suggested in the comments as well. Kuchar, you are still waiting for your mage, who is all the way out here and who can't reach you just now, but you can also not reach the jungles of Qian, but that's fine. We'll pop you into a camp stance, we'll pop you real close to the jungles here. I wouldn't imagine that Dertok is going to attack us, so we can heal up and then attack him next turn without Hexus the Uncoordinated, but that's fine as well. Alrighty, who is up next? Siggy, your good village. I guess we're fighting with you. I'm not gonna make the auto-resolve mistake with you this time. So, what do we get you? We can get the post-battle loot and chance of stealing magics. We got the extra souls gained, though frankly we don't really care about that so much. Mind Wipe is a great pickup. Now, let's get Mind Wipe 1 turn, let's get Master of Misrule 1 turn, and then we'll get Point and Treason of Tzeentch more in Mind Wipe, and just so that we can make more use of it. As the ability to repeatedly cast Treason of Tzeentch is pretty darn good, and Master of Misrule is worth it right now, if nothing else, for the maxed out Tzeentchian authority. Otherwise, let's level up the Blue Scribes, who... So, let's see. We have... the Wind of Life, Beasts, and Metal, and Tzeentch. We have Shadow, Death, Light, and Fire, and Heavens. I do like the lore of Heavens, but it also has a lot of stuff in there that I wouldn't be casting a lot of the time. I like Chain Lightning. Common of Casandora and Urnon's Thunderbolt are really situational. Wind Blast is fine, but I feel like I'd rather use Pink Fire for the principle of the thing. How many points do we need to start unlocking these? 4. Okay, so we'll need 1 more out of this right now. I mean, granted, we'll probably most likely get them all. Well, you know what? We'll get Wandering Wizards as well for the extra campaign movement range before I forget. And frankly, we could probably get Cacophony of Horrors. I'm inclined to go Fire, mostly because Piercing Bolts of Burning is great, Flamestorm is great, Cascading Fire Cloak is useful, and the Sword of Ruin is useful. Fire is a great lore, so yeah. Though, like I said, I do like Heavens. Lore of Light may potentially be useful to us here once this army has more range stuff to get that net down, the Net of Amantok, but anyway, scouting for you, enact enemy spill resistance, enact true change. Should probably make use of that. Or do we get 2 points in Searing Doom? You know what, let's go 1 and 1. Because I can't decide. We should also put another Trickster's Shard on one of you. Village, do you need the healing potion, is the question. I'm gonna keep it on Village for now. But this is going to be a very magic-centric army, and I think you deserve to have the other Trickster Shard in here. We also have a lot of items that we... Oh, we got a new Armor of Destiny that I haven't swapped to somebody. Also got a bunch of Trickster's Helms, but I'm saving those only for Legendary Lords. Same with the Armor of Destiny, so only Bellicor. And I forgot what I gave Valkia. Wait, Valkia has armor, doesn't she? Village can get one of the armors, though. Let's get Trickster's Helm for him. That feels quite right to me. We should also... Do we have another free Talisman of Preservation? Yes, indeed we do. All of these also saved for Legendary Lords. Green items go to less legendary ones, though I am, once again, counting Gulator and Kuchar among them, which is why Gulator has one, and we'll give Kuchar one, probably, as well, depending. Anyway, now it's Pyrrhic Victory, casualties high. Let's do it. Let's see those Mutaliths in action. A little smaller battles this episode, but hey, fun nonetheless.
We will show them all! This is my destiny!
Alrighty, here we go. We debuted the Knights, the Skull Crushers, and now it's time to debut the Mutalith Vortex Beasts and see just how their Mortis Engine effects do for us. Plus, they do feel like they belong in this army together with the Spawn. We'll obviously get a few more Spawn, and temporarily the Forsaken. Granted, village buffs Forsaken, but I, once again, don't feel the need to have more Forsaken in his army, simply because we already have them in Gulator's. While in theory you could have 4 armies, each with Forsaken, I don't think there's any need, simply because the armies wouldn't perform really any different from each other. And I like to build armies that really are just functionally not the same. Anyway, villages, a mutated little force here will head on in. The 2 Mutaliths backing up the weird spawn and heading into the fray to attack some units of Boar Boys. This is, by the looks of it, a pretty darn scary sight as the giant mutant beasts lay into the enemy. And just leaving tentacles in their wake as they do. And they do have some pretty darn flashy effects with all their abilities as well. It's kind of interesting that the Tzeentch units are probably more flashy than the Slaaneshi units are, aren't they? And just the riot of colors and stuff that you get for the kaleidoscopic warp fire and whatnot that you get from the Tzeentch stuff. Seems to be like stuff that the Slaaneshi would enjoy as well. But anyway, the Vortex Beasts look like they're having a pretty grand time with all of this. There we go. Although I do have to wonder how effective they will be as compared to those Skull Crushers. We'll make a quick little comparison at the end of the battle. Anyway, the Blue Scribes cast a Gate of Tzeentch, or an Infernal Gateway, and down upon the enemy, ripping apart a unit of Orc Boys, a unit of Air Boys, and a unit of Boar Boys, and allowing the Mutalith Beasts, Vortex Beasts, to peel away and back to supporting Village. And the rest getting a little bit of support fire from our single unit of blue horrors, though we will be getting more of these guys on the field. Well, not the blue horrors, but more horrors on the field to make sure that the blue scribes aren't lonely. Looks like they are arcing over the rest of our units fairly well and hitting those Boar Boys who are, I think, trying to escape through this portion of the battlefield. And that seems like a bad idea, maybe escaping through a Mutalith Vortex Beast or 2, and doesn't seem like it would work out so well for you. We also got a Cockatrice here as well, which I wasn't keeping an eye on through that portion of the battle. But let's see it do a few things to the enemy here. I actually don't remember what the animations for the Cockatrice are like. Do they just use the... No, it looks like they got unique animations. I was wondering whether it used the same animations from something like a Manticore / the same skeleton. But it does appear to be pretty different because it seems to stand on its feet a lot. Whereas Manticore obviously has 4 feet. There we go. Alright, and lots of units being sent flying. Vortex Beasts continue having their fun. We also have the weird spawn in the middle of the fray, being weird as it does. I had nothing to say, so that's what I said. But it is being pretty effective, I would imagine. It hasn't lost any of its HP. It does have regeneration, and, well, double regeneration. An active and a passive regeneration. It's got to 11.5k damage on it already. And especially considering it's acting as the tip of the spear for this particular battle. That's pretty darn good. Though, of course, the enemy is also being debuffed by the presence of the Cockatrice, and a 15-15 melee attack and defense debuff is really quite strong. I wonder which other... I was thinking about stacking melee attack and defense and debuffs of various types. Combine a Cockatrice with a Soul Grinder and a unit with whichever unit with Soporific Musk. Probably a few others. Bonebreaker from the Shagoths. Probably a few others. I mean, that's only melee defense, but yeah, stacking everything. Anyway, back to the battle here. Looks like some enemy units have moved around and moved through this barricade to attack some of our Marauders of Tzeentch, but at least they won't have to rely upon the Mutalith Vortex Beasts to do all the work for them. Our blue scribes, unfortunately, have taken some damage here. You can see them nearly dead. What actually happened was this little guy, Goblin Great Shaman, had only 2 spells, and it was the Vindictive Glares being targeted repeatedly at the blue scribes that nearly brought them low, or at the very least did bring them low to the ground as they landed to be a little bit safer from that Vindictive Glare. Gotta be careful with them as they don't have a crazy amount of HP and are actually a fairly big target for things like that, so we'll have to be careful. Piercing bolts of burning come down in the big blob of boys as they continue fighting those Marauders of Tzeentch with the fires from the blue horrors arcing overhead and a little bit of help from the Marauder horses of Tzeentch as well. It does look like the enemy is still fighting here. So we are going to send one of the Vortex Beasts to help it out or help them die, I mean. Or I guess help our Marauders, but help the enemy die. A little bit, there we go. And in we go. Oh, damn, that's a lot of units sent flying like that. Huh. I wonder which would be more effective, a Jabberslythe or a Vortex Beast in terms of mincing infantry around it like this. Actually, we do have Malagor is our vassal right now, so if we can get a Jabberslythe on the field, that might be interesting. I've actually never seen the AI build Blood Brutes or Jabberslythes ever, which is a little bit unfortunate. It also probably means that it would be difficult, if not impossible, to get them as allegiance units. Wait, I just trying to remember back to my Taurox campaign. If they can only be acquired through Dread, it means that they can't be built, which means, yeah, they can't be recruited. Cygors can be recruited. I think one of the units of Minotaur types can be recruited from Herdstones, but I would imagine Jabberslythes and Blood Brutes cannot, so sadly we won't be able to directly compare them with a Mutalith Vortex Beast here. But anyway, I had plenty of use for Jabberslythes in my Taurox campaign, so happy with those guys, and so far pretty happy with the Vortex Beast, especially with all their animations. Though the Jabberslythes are cuter with all their jumping around. Anyway, nice little debut for the next form, let's say, of Villach's army. Ooh, alright. Well, the battle itself was no problem whatsoever. The Mutalith Vortex Beasts absolutely cleaning house, 44k and 39k damage, and 208 and 215 kills on the two, vastly outdoing everything else, basically doubling the damage of the next best performing units, and tripling, quadrupling, and more than the damage of plenty of others. With the exception of the Blue Scribes, who did plenty of damage to their spell work, but also were basically the only units that took damage this battle. I kind of didn't realize how fragile they were, and a few vindictive glares to their faces, and they had lost like 80% of their HP. Gonna have to itemize them a little bit in order to make sure that that doesn't happen again. I'll take care of it between the episodes. There's a little Orky faction which will declare war on us again, though I don't know whether they will reappear afterwards, so we're going to occupy rather than anything else. Like so, and at least Villach's army can function on its own now. Goodbye to the Drippin' Fangs, though I'm not sure whether that's one of the Orky factions that returns. We shall see. Now, Village, first of all, you're going to get a pink core in your army. What else do we need? Wait, how many more gift spaces do we have left? Not a lot. Not a lot at all. All-seeing eye. Alright, so what I wanted to see here is, yes, we can get an Exalted Pink Core, but we'd have to forego getting the Exalted Flamer for the other army, but I think, yeah, Village wants, or the Blue Scribes at least want some of those Exalted Pink Cores, and oh, they take 2 turns to recruit? Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, village, I guess you're staying still for 2 turns, which will at least allow the blue scribes to heal. And then afterwards... Oh man, you actually should move down here. Damn, I don't think you have the time to recruit these guys now. Alright, fine, we'll do it a different way. We'll get a temporary lord up and running. It's not like we can't afford it. Doesn't really matter which lord. Nah, in fact, we have Kagan here available for free, although... Let me just think here. Nah, we'll use Kagan. Go to the Blasted Expanse, and then you recruit that unit for Village via the All-Seeing Eye. And it was 57 for you as well, right? Just to double check, okay. All the units are so horrifically expensive. I really wish that I really need a rework for Allegiance to be able to acquire units a little bit easier. Why limit units in 2 ways? You already have the Allegiance currency, or not the Allegiance currency, you already have the limit to 4 units per army anyway. Why have it be so heavily gated? Actually, 3 ways, because there's the expense as well. So you're not building 4 Star Dragons for every army, because you wouldn't be able to afford it most of the time. Anyway. All of that aside, Malefics, you're headed down to Lustria as well with Kuchar and Kolek, wherein these marauders will fight for the right to live, kind of like the Imperials do, and attempt to make a nice little stack. I still haven't decided what else is going to go in this army. Probably a mix of various types of god units, or maybe some gifted units as well. We shall see. I might also delete the trolls just so that there are no undivided units, that all the units in here are some kind of gods units, because the counterpart to this army is having only regular units. So, anyway, Malefics Rune Smasher, that was you, sir. Master of Seals, you gots to get some more seals, man. And you do succeed at it, so well done, sir. Alrighty, and with that, I do believe we are ready to go to next turn. I don't think we're sieging anything, but now I'm going to check, because I'm not 100% sure on it. Alright, Gulator is fine. All of you are not besieging. You are now our ally, and minus 641 is not so bad. I mean, it's bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not so bad. Let's repair this. And you know... Let me see. What's the best way to do this? I'm gonna build a few buildings in a few of these places. My reasoning is thus. If we do that, these places might be worth a little bit more, and these guys will be happier once we give it to them. Although Rakdo Gorge, Exiles of the Heck, how much do you hate us? Minus 100 actually, they don't hate us that much. We might be able to get Tomb Kings units. I don't actually know whether Tomb Kings can be subjugated by Chaos, but I am excited to find out. If they can't, they die. If they can, well, Tomb Kings units it is. Anyway, looks like we just got buildings to build now. So let's do that. Warpstone Desert, you are fine. Although, you know what, let's start upgrading these towers as well. I'm gonna start upgrading these to level 3. I think I've begun upgrading some of them to level 3 anyway, so there shouldn't be all that many anyway. You're good, you are good. There isn't a lot to build right now, is there? Aha, Plains of Zenbai Jin, more favor, please. I don't know why it went to Nangao, but whatever. Harganeth, let's build some here so that we can trade it. And it's worth more money. Hag Grief will repair you for when we trade you. Cragrod Deep, we're keeping you because of the extra charge bonus, especially for knights. And Hawkland. Don't care about you, so go away. We won't collect the income from you, though. Alright, Arachdo Gorge, similarly... just build something cheap. I know, I spent a bunch of money on them, whatever. Silver Pinnacle and stuff, you're gonna go to the Chaos Dwarfs, probably, but they're kind of useless as allies, other than the units that they provide, so it'll probably be the last territories. It just feels like the Dark Lands should all go to them, you know what I mean? Anyway, we got the Rotten Altar. Now we'll get Messenger of Decay for the extra allegiance points for alliance and vassalage with Nurgle, as we will want some Nurglish units, and then we'll go for probably Rampant Plague Bearers. Sure. And then into Virulent Blessings, which we want ASAP. Then we need to swap out the gifts. So Crown of Kings, briefly, for a turn or so. Actually, there really isn't much need to keep swapping this, is there? I think we should just keep Crown of Kings on. But you, Gifts of Corn, do need to be swapped. We need to keep generating units from you so that we can get War Shrines and, more importantly, Bloodthirsters for Valkia. Let's do Blessing of Blood. Oh, I really wish it was more expensive, though. But we do need yeah, we do need more Bloodletters. Or some Bloodletters, generally speaking. Fine, just do it. Got some Bloodletters and Contagious Worship. You are going to... Wait, did I already switch you this turn? I did already switch you this turn. Alright, so that's that for this. And everything else is being kept. Alright, looks good to me. Let's then the turn once again. Wait, I did not check Diplomacy. Because of reasons. Wintertooth, you want to be friends rather than destroyed by us in 6-ish turns. I get that, but that's your problem, not ours. Ooh, and we should be able to attack the Spirits of Shanlin with Kukhar's army this turn. Check out those Blood Shrines in combo with those Skull Cannons. Very, very nice. Also, okay, yeah, that only gives us one Bloodletter, which is a little bit disappointing. I really wish that that one gave 2, but whatever. We'll have some Exalted Bloodletters, some regular Bloodletters, and some Bloodthirsters in here. Gonna have to figure out how many of which. At least we can build Exalted Bloodletters directly from Bloody Sword, which is nice. I do wish they weren't so expensive, but what can you do? Oh, actually, just out of curiosity, what can we build from Scarby? We haven't had his stuff around nearly as long. We did already build... Oh, this is from Scarby, not from Bloody Sword. Well, okay then. Path to Glory, Building Upgrade, Commandment. Man, it's always a commandment, isn't there? And there are territories to trade to Nagaron. I'll mostly take care of the territory trading between the episodes just so we don't have to waste time on screen there. Plains of Zenbaijin, let's exploit our vassals as we do. Hopefully we don't get a plague on us. Though I feel like it probably doesn't affect us. Exploit vassals for you as well, at least temporarily. Actually, yeah, for the extra campaign movement range, and now we can end the turn. We also really need to level up Village and the other Tzeentchen army because we can't get Echoed Hellbrass on the field yet because we're waiting for a appropriate amount of Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch and or Knights of Tzeentch, neither of which we have had time to level up. Blight 10 Scratch. Hi. Trade agreement. Who are you? Oh, you're Clan Verms. Yeah, we're probably gonna subjugate you by punching you, so no. Not yet. What do we have here? A single Dragon Ogre Shaggot, some buffs for Marauders, which we don't really care about. The Gift of Choice and a Filth Mace, a Trickster's Helm, and a Festering Shroud. Are you crazy? Obviously we're getting this. Your actions have drawn... Okay, this says the same thing every time. My underlings. Free good items. Hey, Crooked Moon Mutinous Kits and the Bloody Hands Confederated. Cute. Ready for duty, Anerith Magoth. I don't know who you are, but I do want to check, because we are getting a new Nurgle army on the field, a little bit of an artillery-focused Nurgle army on the field. Who's Anerith Magoth? He's a lower fire, level 12. Alright, I think we'll wait for either Volmir or Chant to come back up, and then we'll make them our Nurgle army. You are also going to start building their Nurgle army. Though it'll be very different from the other 2 Nurgle armies that we're doing. It'll have the Plague Claws, some Poison Wind Mortars, then a bunch of Nurglite Soul Grinders as additional artillery. We will want at least a few Hounds of Decay, but we pretty much always want Hounds of Decay. Man, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have you wait for a little bit, rather than recruit. Let's move everybody else around, then we'll figure out what we want to do. Archie, you're headed to Khazid Irkulaz, and... man, we're gonna have to send Chant down here, I guess. And you can loop around and meet up with a village around Mount Gunbat anyway, so that works. Go to Khazid. Can you do it in Summoning Stance? Indeed you can. Though I'm willing to bet the Giants won't allow this. As in, they'll die due to auto-resolve. They won't die. They'll have 1 HP again, and frankly, this is not worth our time, so you just thought to resolve it. They'll heal. They'll still heal. Can we risk being able to sack this? I don't know. Sack it. We're about to find out. Yes, we can. Ooh, and we are at a new turn, so what I should have done is taken Blessing of Blood and replaced it with a Death's Bounty yet again. Actually, while we're here, Whirling Destruction. More of those pink cores are needed, but at the same time, more soul grinders and other stuff is needed. So let's get soul grinders. Then Crown of Kings is being kept. Contagious Worship will replace with Bloom of Decay. Should have done that before the fight, but whatever. Move into Khazad Kalaz, please. And occupy. We're still looking real good for souls, so... And we're just fine. And you can repair the place, I guess, because we'll probably trade it to an ally, though as yet remains to be seen which ally. Could have subjugated the orcs if it weren't for the endgame scenario, but we do have an endgame scenario, so yeah. Also, are you able to get your next Iron Demon on the field yet? Let's double check that. Let's see. Warhost of Jar, no dice. You need to be at 46. A little bit distant. What about the Legion of Asgore? 28 up to 35 for your first Iron Demon. Alright, alright. I think rather than doing Skullcrackers, we'll do Dreadquake Skullcrackers rather than Iron Demon Skullcrackers, and then that way we can have Skullcrackers, Iron Demons, and Dreadquakes in the same thing, in the same army. It will take a while to get trains on the field, and they're exactly 100 allegiance. Oh, if that bumps up any higher, that'll be a problem. And their Iron Demons are cheaper, though, which is nice. I'm really hoping to be able to get them. Otherwise, we'll just build some Skullcrackers or other Iron Demons, or possibly regular Dreadquakes. Do we even have access to regular Dreadquakes? I see the trains. Wait. Just like Magma Cannons, we can't get regular Dreadquakes, we have to get train Dreadquakes. What the heck is up with the Outpost and the Chaos Dwarves? Very strange. Also do want those Infernal Guard, but they don't necessarily have to be in this army. They would work in any fire army as well, should we desire it. Alright, well, for now, keep moving, sir. You are going to stay in channeling stance. You're going to Nashrak's lair, so away you go. Alright, and these guys will fall first. Is that Karakadrin Rebels? Yeah. Or Dwarf Rebels. If they were Karakadrin Rebels, I guess they would have revived the faction. Kind of interesting, though. Anyway, let's keep moving. We got things to be doing. Alright, who's going where? Siggy, I would like you to hit the Circle of Destruction, though I fear you won't be able to reach it this turn, which is fine. I'm going to encamp stance, go right here, we'll hit the Circle of Destruction next turn. And hey, if it isn't Wolfric, once again just walking by that Black Creek spot. Whoa! What the heck? Nagaret is attacking Warhost of the Apocalypse. Opportunity to intercept. Opportunity to intercept. There's some kind of weird stance that Alethanar has. It's like he was trying to ambush us, but he failed and we ran into him. Is that what happened here? I feel like this happens so rarely that it... Well, damn. I wanted to have Azazel kill Alethanar because Sigvald's killed him already. Although his defeat trait isn't all that crazy good for us anyway. It's just a hero action success chance. So it literally would only help the Master of Seals right now. Anyway, I guess we're fighting this. War Banner. I took off this army earlier, and is now back on it, so I guess you're going to hold that. Gotta get a banner for Sigvald himself to power him up. I'll get him a banner of Rage, I think. Which doesn't have Frenzy, but does have power-ups. Make him a little bit stronger. And we can get him one of the other Talismans of Preservation. Nice. I've been saving those for a reason. And, you know, periodically merging green items into blue items for the, for all the lords to have good stuff. Anyway, go again.
Very well, fool.
Alrighty, very well indeed. Sigvald does a lot of sprinting every single day. He's got to keep in shape, guys. So he does his running. There we go. Oh, I can't stop laughing every time I see him run. Now I just want to get his speed up even further so that he's up to like 100 speed. If it's possible, but we'll see. Anyway, Alethanar once again facing off against our army, and our army's at like, I don't know, between half and 3/4 of its HP, so we are certainly damaged, and we will have to be careful. Over on the leftmost flank, we have some Silver Helms charging in, and damn, they're buffed up to 64 melee defense and 43 melee attack. Pretty darn solid, actually, in terms of their stats, especially for a tier 3 cavalry unit. These aren't dragon princes, after all. Well, they're going to lay into some Marauders of Slaanesh, but we will support them a little bit with the 2 units of our Slaaneshi horsemen, the Serpent's Bite and the Cavalcade of Obscenity, who are eventually to become knights. Sigvald is running directly towards Alethanar, and once again their contest will begin, but we've seen this one already, and we know that Aleth has absolutely no chance in melee one-on-one against Siggy, especially with Sliver Slash active. Alright, and I certainly don't think, or at least doubt, that those units of enemy archers are going to help in melee. Anyway, our sword and board Chaos Warriors are facing off against some Silveran Guard in the center here, with a Chaos War Shrine of Slaanesh helping out, probably doing a decent amount of damage due to its Mortis Engine effect. Yeah, we can see the damage rising, but it is also taking damage, not actually to the Silveran Guard, but most of that damage was from range fire hitting it. On the bright side, though, we do have Aspiring Champions blocking the enemy off from chasing it, so it should be able to move out of the fray and then back in as needed, and just fine. And the rest of the battle is essentially devolved into a big old melee. Every single one of our units has selected a target of enemy archers and is just trying to run them down to make sure that they can't fire. As Siggy and Alethanar continue their duel, though it looks like it's, well, not going so well for Aleth, who is down to about 40% of his HP. He has summoned his clones, I believe I saw. Or not yet. Yeah, he has. There's a clone. He has summoned his clones, but the clones don't have the little symbol overhead, and he stays where he is, or at least he stayed where he was, which means Sigvald can just bring him down. And he's certainly not getting away on foot. Oh, there we go. He goes down yet again. I guess we had to be taught that lesson at least one more time, and we'll see if he gets back up before his faction is destroyed. Anyway, our Chaos Warriors and our units of Marauders are running down whatever enemy units they can catch. Some of the Silveran Guard are still holding in the center, but they're obviously going to hold at a little bit longer than the units of archers. Our unit of Mirror Guard move in to try to help out against them. Though it looks like it won't be needed for much longer. Another unit of Silveran Guard continues to hold me, hit him with a lash of Slaanesh, and that looks like that did the trick, forcing them to waver and be terrified and run away. With that, the textures are going absolutely crazy on this map for some reason. Ooh, over in the background it does look like one of our Marauder horses did get caught while skirmishing by a unit of Great Eagles, which does make sense with their 156 speed, but at the end of the day this unit was already down to 30% of its HP, so no real big loss there. Anyway, chase the rest off screen. Alright, didn't go too badly for us there, though we did take, well, about 10%, a little bit over that damage, and nothing too crazy, though the enemy kept trying to snipe that damn Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh on its War Shrine. He did plenty of damage, but he also took plenty of damage from the enemy Shadow Warriors and Archers, and Alethanar himself. They were firing at him, ignoring most of our units running at them, which, on the one hand, did allow our units to catch up without much in the way of casualties, but our poor single entity has no way of healing itself. Anyway, we're gonna sacrifice those captives, I guess. Not that the money is super critical right now. And let's see. Where's the rest of his army? Well, I guess it's not super important. Seasoned campaigner for Siggy, that perfect vigor is great in the campaign movement range is greater. Go back to where you were going, which was out here. And actually the healing ain't too bad. Yeah, it's having the Chaos strategist really is quite necessary for this particular faction. And obviously the high Slaanesh authority getting us another 10% ain't too bad. Alrighty, now, who else do we have to move? Azazel. So here's the question that I have for Azazel. Do we send him to start attacking the Tomb Kings here? Or do we have him help Siggy? Here's the thing. We'll need to send an army relatively soon to Be'lakor, to Conquata. Most likely I'd like Sigvald to do that, but most likely as well, he probably won't have time to destroy all of the Nagaryth faction by himself without doing that. I suppose what we could do is, rather than my original plan, which was to send Jaeger up here, is to have Valkia take this. Or not Valkia, or the Khorne Demon army, which also needs work. But have her or have that army take Kawark, and then immediately turn to the Palace of Ruin without having to rely on Jaeger to be there. Might be better to do it that way. Actually, speaking of Jaeger, I would like you to start moving towards Blacklight Tower. At least this way we might be able to bypass Siggy needing to waste his time up there, because we want Be'lakor to have some fun on the field before the campaign is done. Now you... I guess since we can't build anything else from the All-Seeing Eye right now, you can use the gifts. You cannot use the... Well, okay. I really wish there was a way to transfer pink horrors from you to Mr. Village, but alas, there is not. That said, that doesn't change the fact, and the fact is, this is the Flamer army. And thus we need flamers here, though we don't have them available as yet, which means you're free to continue moving. You go into March to... Oh wow, March stance did nothing for you. Go into Channeling stance. Stay right here. And I guess head to the Blacklight Tower. We'll replace the pink horrors over time and hopefully get another Exalted Flamer. I do wish we had another Tzeentch Vassal in order to build stuff. I fear that Big Bird is dead though, so we won't be able to do much for with that. Crown of Kings and Death's Bounty are both still good, just had to double check. We're headed to... Oh, you know what? Let's cancel you. And just so that we get additional students, though frankly we probably don't need them because I really doubt that we're going to go below 2 turns per tech. We'll mostly never reach 1 turn because I imagine to get 1 turn you need like 800% and that's just not happening. Yeah. Anyway, Valkia. Any horsemen available? Ah, yes, good. Alright, that's 1. We're not going to bother with aspiring champions in this particular army. I don't think anything else is needed. We will save the gifted, or 2 gifted units for getting... I'm very tempted by the skull cannons just by virtue of how good they are, but once again, I want to differentiate this army from Kuchar's, and it's going to be infantry, and it's going to be skull crushers and a couple bloodthirsters, so... Keep doing what you're doing. You get a Mark of Khorne, though. And nobody else gets a Mark of Khorne. Does anybody want to evolve? No, not yet. Alrighty, then we'll want to go into raiding stance. And head on over to Hrothgar's Spire. I do have to wonder whether there are enemies here. We do have to watch out since this is a strong faction, and Valkia's army ain't so strong as yet. Who are they fighting, incidentally? They are fighting Be'lakor and the Vanaheim. That's it. Oh. At Strength Rank 4, they're going to bend all their armies into attacking us. Oh, well, that sounds good to me, Azazel. It looks like we're declaring war on them, sir. Guess we could ask Be'lakor to join, but I don't see any need to. Declare war it is. Nice, nice, nice. I'm willing to bet that Nagaron won't like that. I'm willing to bet he won't like that at all. Oh, but once we trade him sufficient territories, maybe he'll be mollified. To Shrug Tech Mount. And hey, would you look at that? We have an army here. It ain't the best of armies, but it will be enough for Azazel to fight. Alas, this poor mage is having a difficult time reaching him. Is it really faster to go around this way than it is this way? We have to meet up at Storag Core. Assuming we send the Zazel this way, you know what? It's probably faster to meet him at Clarkarond, because we'll never catch up to him anyway. Exalted Hero, what do you have? And what do you get? What do you got? Whatever. Let's get you Horsemen of the Apocalypse, though the rank 7s will benefit barely any units here. Probably actually not worth it. Let us instead then... You could get a Steamed Combatant, but I don't see this army defending, but who knows? There's a bunch of nearby enemy armies, and the additional armor-piercing damage would really help those poor Hell Scourges in doing a little bit more damage. And then let's get Blade Shield and we'll head on to Deadly Onslaught. You, Vashnar Hellnox, we will need you casting 2 points in Lash of Slaanesh, 1 point in Blissful Rapture, and then 1 point in Scouting, and we'll maximize Scouting afterwards. And you do have the Warrior Bane. We'll need another one on the other one. When we get him into the army, I think I actually put him on it. Put it on him? Yeah, alright, he has the Warrior Bane. Good. Everything's good there. You can have the other Talisman of Preservation, sir. Now that we've made a decent amount. Oh, we are starting to run out of them, though. Yeah, there's so many damn Warriors of Chaos Lords that there's not going to be enough talismans of this caliber to go around. You can keep the Trickster's Helm and for now keep the Tormentor's Sword until you get the Demon Blade, which I am probably going to do next episode, frankly. Go. Let's fight some Tomb Kings. Yeah, so we debuted Valkia, we debuted the Mutaliths, we are now going to debut against the Tomb Kings, a day of debuts. Go.
The damned prince stalks these realms once more.
Alrighty, here we go. The Tomb Kings. Let's debut against them with the forces of Azazel. 4 battles. Now, this particular episode, this is going to be an absolute menace in terms of editing, but, well, what can you do? Yeah, Tomb Kings. Going to be a pretty interesting fight. The enemy has between its 6 units of Sepulchral Stalkers and its 2 units of Ushabti, plus the summoned units of Ushabti, and due to the Realm of Souls, that'll be 9 units of monstrous infantry that we have to contend with. This army being rather slow at damage dealing at the current time due to its reliance on its Hell Scourges until it gets those Soul Grinders and possibly more Exalted Demonettes or Keepers of Secrets, is going to have a little bit of a tough time in dealing with the monstrous infantry. The regular infantry aren't going to be nearly as much of an issue, especially the skeletons, and we do have our units of Aspiring Champions out front to dish out damage, but nonetheless, it'll still have to be something we concern ourselves with, and yeah, there we go. Skeleton Spears down to like about 1/3 or less of their weapon strength due to the combination of Poison and Overwhelm. Once again, the combination is working, and it'll work even better once we have our second Sorcerer in to add to all of that effect. Alright, and we'll bump our attack up. Even the Whips get 71 melee attack when the Marauders buff them up like that, which ain't too bad. Granted, their weapon strength is still pathetic, but it'll slowly work their way through. And just out of curiosity here, if we take a look at the Sepulchral Stalkers, their weapon strength, yeah, it's even worse. Down to only 32 on a monstrous infantry unit, which is pretty darn low. Alright, but low or not, they are still holding. That means they're doing low damage and we're doing low damage, and we'll just have to grind our way to victory, which in a way is very Slaaneshi anyway. Anyway, over in the background, over here, the enemy had all 3 of their Screaming Skull catapults, and we quickly used our Flames of fire. Our piercing bolts burning army bound ability and dropped down upon them, which did heavy damage to them, allowing us to spawn some chaos spawn on top of them as well, destroying all 3 of the Screaming Skull catapults. Granted, the sacrifices are summoned unit of chaos spawn, but what do we care? That's what they're for. Out here, Azazel has returned to the fray. He's dropped a couple of lashes of Slaanesh into this blob of enemies, but the main thing here, oh, there's another one. The main here is for him to kill off the enemy Tomb King, who's right in the middle here. And of course, Azazel's splash damage will allow him to dish out continual damage. We also get the chariots moving in to help out. They've been sort of running around and annoying the enemy in the background, as they were able to get around this blob of enemies by taking the long way around, together with the demonettes and with the marquee here. The enemy was able to summon a unit of Ushabti. This is the Realm of Souls summoned Ushabti unit, I believe. And they are getting close and personal with the demonettes here. Their armor piercing will be wasted on the demonettes, but they are doing fairly decent damage to them because of the demonettes' fragility and because of the splash damage that they deal. Now, that said, they will lose over time, but we do still have to be careful. The demonettes not going to be the most effective units for sieges in particular. Once again, because they're fragile, and if they get stuck, they will get destroyed, and because they're demons, they will get banished. And considering we have a very limited amount of demonettes, we need to be careful with them. Anyway, the Ushabti will drop, but another Ushabti will move in to join the fray as well. Our chariots continue menacing the enemy in the background, just running down any skeleton archers that they can, and sort of and doing a little bit of that cycle charge action. Back here, our Sibilant Slaughtercade chariot is also facing off against some skeleton chariots, and considering the Sibilant Slaughtercade are actually anti-large, that probably brings them to 60 bonus versus anti-large, fairly considerable, which would probably make them quite a bit more effective in a chariot-on-chariot clash than the skeleton chariots. Anyway, the enemy lord, I believe, has been brought down by Azazel at this point, and the skeleton guard, I guess, that he had are all being finally destroyed. And at least over on this side of the map, over on this ramp, we have made it through. Have not quite made it through over on this side, however, as there are just way too many monstrous infantry. I haven't really been watching this side as much because most of this portion of the battlefield is in shadow. And it's a little bit more difficult to see what's going on here than on that other side, but we got an idea. Alright, and I believe we are going to bring in a few... Okay, camera jumped, sorry about that. Bring in a few reinforcements here, though the enemy is still holding. And gonna take a little bit of time to do that. Chariots still running around in the background. Azazel moved in to help with the Ushabti. And the Marquis sends demonettes flying, probably more so than the enemy, simply because, well, he's gonna have a difficult time sending too many Ushabti flying. But not to worry, we don't need to send them flying, we just need to see them lying dead. Oh wow, okay, oh my lord, never mind. Never mind, Marquis. Very nice, send 2 of them flying quite far. Got great air on those 2. That make me look like an idiot. I stand very much corrected. Alrighty, well, the Ushabti have begun crumbling away, and we no longer need to take casualties on our demonettes, so we will start moving them up this ramp here. Unfortunately, the Sepulchral Stalkers, aptly named, have stock on them, so I didn't know that those were there, so we are going to have to be careful about those. More Sepulchral Stalkers block our way as we make our way up the central ramp in the enemy settlement, and they and the units of Nehekara Horsemen here will try to hold the line against our aspiring champions and our Hell Scourges. And once again, it'll be a fairly lengthy contest as the two whack away at each other, but at the end of the day, our aspiring champions have taken no damage whatsoever, and our Chaos Warriors have taken relatively little as well. They're all in very good shape. Whereas, for example, the Demonettes took some hits and are now very, very badly hurt. So we're going to back them away rather than allow them to continue working against us. We're actually going to pop Phantasmagoria on the enemy here. There we go, just to make sure that the enemy were trapped and that they couldn't chase the demonettes down, because once again, we really don't want to lose them. Anyway, Azazel has arrived to break the sort of deadlock over on this side, jumping right into the middle of the fray and starting to knock out the enemy monstrous infantry, and by the looks of it, fairly effectively as well. And just a few more hits in the enemy blockade, or the enemies blocking this particular choke point will be done for, which will allow this portion of our units to head directly into the city. I believe Azazel has turned to the enemy Tomb Prince, who has activated the Curse of Jaff and forced us into Rampage, but will die, and our Rampage will disappear. Very nice. These guys have been broken, and Azazel can now peel away and allow them to fight the enemy archers, while he moves in to deal with more of those Sepulchral Stalkers. And there's a lot of Sepulchral Stalkers in this particular battle. I do really like the unit myself, so can't say I blame the enemy for using so many. And those shotgun blasts of theirs are pretty darn effective, and it's nice to see a halberd-wielding unit of monstrous infantry for once, which we don't got a lot of. And there we go, Azazel and the chariots have arrived in the back. Once again, the chariots have just been sort of rumbling around in the background. It's a little bit tough to keep our eyes on them because they're not fighting like 80% of the time. They're just trying to get a good charge in. And it's more interesting to see the rest of the contest, but not to worry, they've been racking up the damage over time. Joyriders here have 12k damage and 83 kills, which is pretty darn decent. And they've got more to acquire as we continue on our way. Anyway, it looks like Azazel has broken the deadlock once again, and the enemy Sepulchral Stalkers lie defeated. The Nehekara Horsemen still have to be destroyed, but we can peel away a decent pile of our units. The chariots, for example, to run down the enemy skeleton archers that were on that particular platform. Chase them down and destroy them. We're probably only going to have chariots in this army and the Gorby's chariots in the in Kuchar's army, so I'm gonna enjoy them while we have them. As we can't have too many armies reliant on chariots, especially since, let's face it, Chaos chariots are kind of meh. In fact, no kinda about it. The Gorby's chariots of the Beastmen are fantastic, but frankly, the skeleton chariots of the Tomb Kings are pretty darn good as well. But I think that's mostly because of the fact that they come with 8 units rather than the 4, which greatly increases their damage. Whereas the Chaos chariots are heavily armored and stuff, but with only 4 units, so they do struggle a little bit. I do wish for some Gorby's chariots, but once again, we do have Malagor, so we can get some Gorby's chariots if we want them. Though I'm not sure that it's necessary. Even if the Chaos chariots only perform at like 75% effectiveness or something, that's still fine compared to the Gorby's chariots. The problem is obviously that the Gorby's chariots have bleed, so anything they touch will start bleeding, and that continues racking up additional damage on them. Whereas the Chaos chariots lack that. Anyway, the last holdouts of this particular settlement appear to be, wouldn't you know it, more Sepulchral Stalkers, though Azazel and the Marquis take out the last two, and hey, one of the units of Demonettes has rejoined the fray as well. And with that, the enemy army is done for. They will begin melting away, minus 2 more units of Sepulchral Stalkers. And they are hidden, so at this point I didn't even know where they were. This one identifies itself by charging towards us. Probably could have applied yourself to one of the choke points rather than waited until the end of the battle like this. But heck, whatever. There comes the Marquis to lead the charge, and I do believe Azazel is here as well. There he is. Azazel drops down and pops his Tormentor Sword on the enemy as well, and these guys suffer a lot of debuffs. Melee attack and defense down to 0 between all the debuffs, and their weapon strength down to a mere 26 anyway, even if they did have melee attack to use it with. Once again, I do like the idea of stacking a ton of debuffs in this particular army. Kind of an interesting case study in stacking debuffs as opposed to stacking buffs on your own units, though I guess that we will have some buffs anyway. Anyway, that unit will melt away. The last enemy unit is here and will finally get out of stock, and we will destroy it as well. I'm just going to speed it up until we charge on in and destroy it for good. A little bit annoying the way that the enemy decided to use these stalking units in this particular battle at the end here rather than fight, so that we had to actually look for them. Alright, well, look no further as the last of them is finally brought down by the looks of it, either by Azazel or by the Exalted Hero. Kind of hard to see or tell who got the last hit there, but I suppose it doesn't matter much. A very nice heroic victory for him, and a great start to our war against the Exiles of Nehek. Ooh, alright, very nice. With the 2 stacks, that definitely took some effort, especially with the 6 units of those Sepulchral Stalkers, though towards the end there they were being more annoying than actually threatening, just by not appearing in the main fight locations. Otherwise, in terms of damage, it looks like the Chariots actually did quite well here. 19k, 19k, and 24k on them. The Sibilant Slaughtercade, Freaks on a Leash, and Joyriders. Surprisingly, the MVPs, by and large, outdoing everything with the exception of 1 unit of Aspiring Champions here, and obviously Azazel with his 88k damage, and the other Sorcerer with his 55. They also outdid the Exalted Hero. Very nice. Very nice. I'm surprised. Generally, Chariot's not super useful in sieges, but this army, Azazel's army, and the way we built it is very particular, and thus it does give the Chariots more of a chance to shine than perhaps another army might in siege battles. Anyway, we're going to occupy the place, and I don't remember whether we could reach it, so we're not going to sack it, just occupy it.
Furnish it with soul.
A Trickster Shard won't say no to that. Another Barbarian. I did say we were out of Barbarians earlier. Let's get Exploit Vassals, and we'll just build one of these regardless of the fact that we could get a little teensy bit more in the way of reductions. Anyway, I believe we will be having, yeah, it looks like by the balance of power, considering we're Strength Rank 1, they still have at least 3 or 4 armies on the field most likely, so plenty fights to be had, and especially Valkia will need to get into them. However, that'll have to wait until next time, because we are out of time, and I'm going to call it here. Alethanar's faction will be on the menu next time around. We will be starting to move towards Be'lakor. The fights with Azag the Slaughterer have begun, and we got 2 more armies getting ready. The Flying Army and the Nurgle Siege Army out here, sort of the Death Guard sort of army, sort of slow advance with stuff, but anyway, Kolek will be heading together with Kuchar over the sea lanes, both down to the southern Chaos Wastes and to Alustria. Lots of more fun to be had, so stay tuned for more. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments for the algorithm, and down below, especially the Threshold. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.